Hello everyone. This is MEENU AGRAWAL, and I really apologize first of all from all of you. I was not able to post my videos, so I'm thinking to start with plant physiology so that you can all benefit from that. Okay, so with that I'm going to start, and now you know that let's start. Already you have been studying about it from your childhood, isn't it? This is the topic which is quite known to you, but in this chapter, at this level, you will unfold certain things about this process, though this process seems to be very simple, and but it's really no difficult to know certain things you are not knowing about it. Okay, so let's start with the topic, that is photosynthesis. So if you look at this word photo means what? Light. Synthesis means what? To form. That is, light is able to make what? Food. So this is the component which is now, that entire universe, if you look at, or if I talk about solar system mostly, and on earth, if I confine myself, the source of light is what? Is your sun, isn't it? And how that light is entering into the living system. Again, I'm talking about living system. Now how that energy is entering into the living system is via this process of photosynthesis, isn't it? And your then these organisms, like your plants, they make up food, and that is available to now heterotrophs. Therefore, what they are called? They are called autotrophs. Plants are called as what? Plants are called as autotrophs. So you know all these terms, and it's nothing new I'm telling to you. It's just helping you to revise with these concepts. Okay, so photosynthesis a process, no, something which is basically bringing your energy into the living system, and it is also no, its product is so vast. It's giving you oxygen, without which maintaining your oxygen cycle, level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Why there is so much? In what form is this carbon dioxide? You know, if you look at if you look at any cycle, okay, that cycle exists in two forms. Free form and the fixed form. And the free form and the fixed form for different elements are varying. Now if we look at oxygen, the free form is 21%. It is how much? It is 21%. But if you talk about your carbon dioxide, it is very less. It is 0.03%. So why is it that case some is more in free form and the carbon dioxide is very less in free form? Then where most of the carbon dioxide has gone? Have you ever asked that question? So with as I go, I will try to answer it also, and you will get the answer. Okay, but just try to think, where has this lot of carbon dioxide present? In what form is it present? I'm just raising this question right now for you people to think on. Okay, and if you don't get the answer, please watch videos until the end. I hope you will get your answers. If you have any other questions, please post on my channel, and definitely I will try to solve it out. Okay, so let's move with the topic further. So if you look at the slide, this is showing you what? This is showing you the wavelength of the light. Your entire light consists of what? Electromagnetic spectrum. Now if you look at this spectrum of light, it consists of both what? It consists of both your longer wavelengths are there, and their shorter wavelengths are also there. Now you know that one thing is very clear to you, that what? Energy is inversely proportional to the wavelength of light. The larger the wavelength, the lesser the energy will be. The smaller the wavelength, the greater the energy will be. Now, so if you look at TV, radio waves, microwaves, infrared waves, and then comes your visible range of light. this visible range of light, if you look at, it falls around your 400 nanometer to your 760 nanometer. That is the range of it. Fine. Now, and then comes your ultraviolet rays, X-rays and gamma rays, and you know that these rays are ionizing rays and their energy is very high. Now, why is it that for your photosynthesis only visible range of light is responsible for it? I'm raising a question for you. Everywhere you have read that plants absorb visible range of light. They absorb light, but which range of light do they absorb? Do they absorb infrared? Do they absorb microwaves? Do they absorb UV rays, X-rays? No, they absorb what? Visible range of light. Why is it that they are not able to absorb any other range of light except your visible range of light? Because what is happening here now, if this wavelength of light is suitable now for the chlorophyll molecule to absorb light, because if you go now towards this rays, towards a larger wavelength, infrared, microwaves and TV rays, and this amount of light energy won't be sufficient to excite your chlorophyll molecules. I will talk about that process next. And just let me move back. And what is happening if we go back to UV rays, X-rays and gamma rays? If I go to these rays, then what will happen? The energy will be very high and entire chlorophyll molecule can be destroyed by that, and therefore this visible range of light gives you an appropriate amount of light for the chlorophyll molecule. Now let us understand. Already I have talked about why does photosynthesis depend on light detectable by human wavelength of light, isn't it? I have told you why is it not working above this visible light? Because the energy is lower energy is there, and if I go to this UV light and X-rays and all, then the energy is very high energy, which will break the, what will do? It will break your, disrupt your molecule. It will disrupt chlorophyll molecule, and it won't, and this energy won't be sufficient to excite. Now what do we mean? I mean, you can see here that in this diagram that light is falling on, and this is the structure of your what? Atom, isn't it? You are aware with it that there is an electron, and then there this is your nucleus, and around it are electrons revolving around it, isn't it? Now when light falls on it, the electrons, they gain that energy and they move from their lower energy state to their higher energy state, and this is an excited electron. Now what can happen? Either this condition or this condition. Now in this condition, what is happening, which generally happens, is that when electron moves from its excited state to its ground state, what happens? It emits certain wavelength of light. It will lose that energy, isn't it? And that energy it will lose, it will emit certain wavelength of light. Light generally will be what? It will be definitely smaller from the light energy that it has absorbed. It had absorbed certain amount of energy, it will lose amount of energy, and that energy will be smaller than the absorbed energy, and therefore the wavelength of it will be definitely what? Larger. Now it will emit a certain wavelength of light, and this phenomenon is called as phosphorescence. You must have read in chemistry. Okay, now in this case, what is happening? That electron is being excited from its ground state, and then it is being knocked out. What is happening when you are supplying energy? It is not now it is getting knocked out from that entire atom, and this is what is happening in your photosynthesis. Okay, so we will further talk about that this electron which is being knocked out, it is being accepted by an electron acceptor molecule, and it is the base of your both the photosystems that we will come across in case of photosynthesis. Okay, so let's move on. Now the question rises, where the photosynthesis takes place. Okay, so I will come back to that section, ki what happens to that electron later. Now into the photosystems later. First let us understand where is photosynthesis taking place. This is the most no question taking place, ki where is photosynthesis taking place. I hope all of you know that is your leaf. Now why leaf, why no other parts of the plant, why only leaf? And let's see how the structure of the leaf is well suited for this purpose. It is well more suited for this purpose. Now if you look at the leaf, what do you see? This is the section of the leaf, and you can very well see that this is the uppermost epidermal layer, and it's a single layer, and just below it are the your palisade or mesophyll cells we call them. And you know, and you are seeing then that they're filled with what? They're filled with chloroplast. When light is falling on them, just observe that light is falling on it directly, and they are what? They are, the light is perpendicular to them, isn't it? And when the light is falling on them, they are receiving the light, and they are filled with, if you look at now, around one cell has got around your 40 to 80 granum. Now I hope you are aware with the structure of your chloroplast. This is the chloroplast, isn't it? Now first let me deal with why leaf is suitable place for it, because it has got chloroplast. Secondly, it has, as you can see here, this is what is your now vascular bundle, which is bringing what? Now supplying your what? Water to your leaf. And thirdly is your stroma. You can see here, this is the stroma, and this is the place where what is happening, your exchange of gases are taking place. And if you see, this is your dicot plant, and mostly the stroma will be stomata will be located on the lower surface of your leaf, because if they are present on the upper surface, then they are going to desiccate, they are going to dry up, because then there will be lot of loss of water. Okay, so all the things which is required, like carbon dioxide, exchange of gas, water, light, and chlorophyll, everything is present in the leaf. So leaf is the best suited place for photosynthesis. Okay, now if you look at here also, one more thing I will try to point you people here, that if you look at these cells now, look at the mesophyll cells, they are quite stacked to one another. But if you look at these space cells, they are not loosely packed, they are not so compactly packed. The question is, why are not they so compactly packed like mesophyll cells? They are not compactly packed because the carbon dioxide that is moving from here, now it should get some space to diffuse. Therefore they are loosely packed. So you can, if you look at it now and think about why the cells are not like this way, you will reach to some answer, and try to find out the answer. If not possible, then you see the leaves are so best suited place for the photosynthesis to take place. Now coming back to the structure of your this chloroplast. Now chloroplast, if you look at, they have a diameter of around 4 to 10 micrometer. You must have read that. And if you look at that, this is what? This is the stack of your what? Thylakoids. This is the section of your thylakoids which is showing, and these are the stacks of your thylakoid. And as I told you, there are around 40 to 80 granums are there in the entire chloroplast. And there are around each granum has got around this thylakoids over it, around 8 to 5 thylakoids over it. Okay, so these are there, and you know that the membrane, it is what, it has got a, it is a double membranous structure. So inside the inner membrane is lying what? There is an outer membrane, and this is an inner membrane which you can see, and inside the inner membrane is lying these what? It is filled with stroma, and inside this is lying your all thylakoids stacked over one another, and they are connected by your stromal laminae. Again, I'm repeating for you, although it's a repetition. You know that they are autonomous or semi-autonomous organelle. They have their own ribosomes, which is of bacterial type, that is 70S type. They have their own DNA, है ना? Circular DNA. So this is known to you. So your ultimate photosynthesis is taking place where? Inside this chloroplast. Okay, so let's move on further and let's see. You know that your chlorophyll molecule, this is the chlorophyll molecule. Now where are your photosynthetic pigments located? So they are basically located in your thylakoid membrane. Okay, so they are located in your thylakoid membrane. So this is the molecule of your chlorophyll. Now as you can see here, that in this chlorophyll molecule, that in case of chlorophyll A, rest of the things are same, just what it varies is in chlorophyll A there is a methyl group. Okay, and at the same position in case of chlorophyll B there is what? There is an aldehydic group. Okay, and you know that chlorophyll A, chlorophyll A is acting as your reaction center. Okay, it will act as your reaction center. We will talk about it more. And chlorophyll B is basically acting as your accessory pigment. And if you look at entire living system where photosynthesis is taking place, they will have chlorophyll A. Okay, so if you look at this molecule, it has got a long hydrocarbon chain, okay, in it, and it has got a porphyrin ring, and this ring-like structure is also present in your hemoglobin molecule. So this is your porphyrin ring, and one major element which this pigment is having is your magnesium. Okay, which is imparting it what? Green color, so to it. Okay, so now I hope it's clear that chlorophyll A is having got a methyl group. Chlorophyll A has methyl group. Okay, CH3 group in it, and your chlorophyll B has got an aldehydic group, and chlorophyll A is mostly your acting as your what? Reaction center. Now here I have jotted down this table, which will be really helpful for you for your MCQ type of questions, and where you have to memorize few things like what is the formula, so it is showing you the formula of your chlorophyll A molecule, which mostly asks us that is C55 H72 O5 N4 Mg. Okay, and now if you look at chlorophyll B, just there is a change in methyl group, so hydrogen will be added to it, and no, and there will be H in A will be more. Chlorophyll A, H will be more, and chlorophyll B, H will be less. So you can see here C55, then H70 has come, O6, O is added now, it has got 6 CHO, O6, and then N4 Mg. Rest will be same. So I hope you understood the difference between the two. C is same. What is the difference is in your that only. So now this slide is showing you what? It is showing you the action spectrum and your absorption spectrum. Now what is action spectrum? What is absorption spectrum? First let's understand what is absorption spectrum. I have told you that they absorb the light within the visible range of light. Now this is the light which it is showing you here. Now what do you see here basically is that this is your chlorophyll A molecule, and this is one is your chlorophyll B molecule. And if you see both chlorophyll, whether it's chlorophyll A or chlorophyll B, and both of them are absorbing light. See, this is within what, a violet and blue range. If you look at this range of light, so it is within violet and blue, and this is the maximum which you see is your orange and red range of light. So what you see, that whether it is chlorophyll A or B, both of them absorb maximally in these two ranges of light. Now if you look at green and yellow range, they are not absorbing light at that range. Why? If you go through physics also, chlorophyll is appears basically yellow and green. Why they absorb? Because they are reflecting that color of light, so they are not absorbing that wavelength of light. One thing, and why they are appearing as green, because they are reflecting that color. So, and they are mainly absorbing your light within these two ranges of light. That is within your violet and blue range and your orange and red range of light. Okay. Now, that is your now around your 420 to 500, and from here if you take, it is around 600 to 680, around that they are absorbing your light. Okay, or you can say 700 wavelength of light. Now what do you see here? If you look at your action spectrum, is telling you about your action. Your absorption spectrum is also telling you about your action spectrum. Action spectrum indicates what? It tells you about your rate of photosynthesis. I hope you understand the rate, the process, now the speed at which your photosynthesis is occurring. Okay, so it will depend upon the products that it will form, isn't it? So if you look at, now here it is giving you the rate. So if you see, the rate of photosynthesis is also high in which range of light? If you see 400 to 500 and 600 to 700, which is falling in the range of your absorption spectrum. That is for your blue light, and that another peak is for your orange and red light. Fine, definitely means the rate of photosynthesis is high when they are absorbing light, isn't it? Therefore they are able to make the products. And what are the end products of photosynthesis? Anyone can tell? So basically, that the end product of photosynthesis is what? Is your starch formed, or we are going to look for oxygen. Oxygen is also an end product of your photosynthesis. So this was a very good experiment conducted by Engelmann. Okay, what he did, he took aerobic bacteria. Okay, basically he did an algae called cladophora. Okay, he did this experiment on cladophora. Okay, so it is given in your NCERT. So the picture that I got, it is for spirogyra, but the experiment is same. Okay, now the here one is showing you the cladophora. This picture is showing you of cladophora, and this one is showing you of spirogyra. So don't be confused. He did work on cladophora, which is given in your NCERT. Okay, now what did they saw? What they did basically in this experiment, I'm trying to tell you that basically they produced monochromatic light. I hope you understand the word monochromatic light. The word means since one. Mono means one, chromatic means light. Chrome means color. Chrome means what? Color. So they produce light of a single color. Okay, so they produced light of a single wavelength, single color. Okay, so and what they got, therefore they produced monochromatic light of particular wavelength of light they focused on, and what they on this algae, and what they found, and there was lot of aerobic bacteria around that. in that pond. Now what do they find? That wavelength, if they produce different monochromatic light, they found that the amount of that will be equivalent to oxygen released, isn't it? If photosynthesis is high, means more and more amount of oxygen will be released. If more and more oxygen is released at that area, what do we find? That it has got more amount of aerobic bacteria will be there, because they need oxygen for their survival. Okay, so what do we find? That the maximum amount of aerobic bacteria was seen around your blue wavelength of light and in your orange and your red wavelength of light. So which also showed you what? The rate of photosynthesis, the action spectrum. So as you can see here also in this diagram, the more it is visible in this wavelength of light and in this wavelength of light, not in your green and yellow. It is more visible in orange and red and your violet and your blue wavelength of light. So this is basically showing you that how now action spectrum, the rate of photosynthesis now is dependent on what? On your absorption spectrum, amount of light they absorb. Okay, so it is dependent on that. This is the overall reaction of your photosynthesis. I'm discussing it here, and I will also further proceed with that in my next video with this, and I will come to light reaction and all later. So if you look at any reaction in photosynthesis, what is given in it? C6H12O6 light, chlorophyll and 6CO2 plus H2O भी देता है. अगर आप ध्यान से देखिए, if you have read in your class 10th NCERT, they have written H2O. Now what is this H2O? Now came in, he demonstrated that 6 molecules of water will be insufficient for evolution of 6 molecules of oxygen. He said that for evolution of 6 molecules of oxygen, how many molecules of water will be required? 12 molecules of water will be required. Okay, and I will show you why, how it is there in your further videos. So water is oxidized into oxygen, remember that. So what is oxidation? Oxidation is your loss of electrons. I will come to these pointers later. Again, I am giving some terminologies in these videos initially, which you keep in your brain, and in the next time I will repeat it. Okay, now in reduction, what is happening? Now there is gain of electrons. So carbon dioxide is being reduced to carbohydrates by gaining what? Electrons. Okay, so what do we find? That in some bacteria oxygen is not evolved. Okay, and they are called as non-oxygenic and aerobic photosynthesis. Okay, so we have talked about it in when we were dealing with bacteria. Okay, so there are certain bacteria like green sulfur bacteria, purple sulfur bacteria. So these are bacteria which are non-oxygenic. Okay, and basically what do you find in this reaction? Basically your water molecules is being shown in the both left side and the right side to balance your equation. Okay, to balance the equation. Fine, and we will see how this 12 water molecules are required, and basically to generate 6 molecules of oxygen, and ultimately how 6 water molecules are further formed and released. Okay, so in the next video I will clear all these pointers, because this is something where people miss it, and always there is a doubt in their mind why is it writing 12 molecules of water, isn't it, and only 6 molecules of oxygen is being released. What is the reason behind it? I will try to cover it in my next video, where I will deal with cyclic and non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Okay, there I feel the things will be clear to you. If you still have any doubt, please feel free to now put your question in the comment box. Okay, so with that I would like to end today's video, and thank you. And please, in this video I have dealt with the basics of it, so go through it and try to note all the basic points. Thank you.